Hello, hello, good morning. I have no idea what reading I want to do. So I'm just going to kind of go with the flow. Yeah, for sure. I think I'm just going to see what comes out. Let's talk about it. Um, Obviously, there's a lot to say. Obviously. So let's see what's going on. Ooh, fortune meets opportunity. I like that. So with this black cat, especially this being the first card, this basically tells me that a lot of people are looking for opportunities. Um, it seems like this next step, whatever it might look like, whatever it might be, will bring a lot of fortune. And I think it's opening your eyes to seeing opportunities that you might not have necessarily seen there. But there's this fear of regretting any decisions. And with that, I think that's part of the reason why there's a need to ask the right questions. There's a need to do the research. There's a need to get organized. I also think a lot of people need to, there's this unnecessary fear in regards to whether or not you're thinking the right way, or there's a mental blockage here due to financial reasons. And I think this is going to change fairly soon because a lot of people are recognizing this blockage and learning how to counteract it. So with this mummy and this jack-o'-lantern, it feels like a lot of solar plexus energy and sacral energy. I feel there's a huge change amongst all of the people, or some, whoever this resonates for. And because this change is illuminating itself to you differently than what you're used to, there's that guard up where you feel you have to have your boundaries, or this doesn't feel more so boundaries. I just think a lot of people are starting to recognize how the decisions they've made in the past, just going willy-nilly, or willy-nilly, I never really said that, or just really like not looking into things as deeply as they should, or finding opportunities and asking people. I think this protection here is pride rather than boundaries. I think there was a struggle to listen to what other people have said to do. And I think now you don't have a choice but to rely on information. Information from the surrounding people in your area, or collaborate. And I think, there's a blockage here that's being defeated because you've learned to reduce the burden on yourself. And that burden being asking the right questions, that burden being looking for the right people to help you. Just expressing yourself in a way where you don't feel that pride of, I could do this on my own. Or there's that mummy here where the change now comes from this forgiveness of self. And with that forgiveness of self, you start to recognize the patterns where you used to allow to deter you from making the right decision. And so, especially with that black cat, it feels like I think a lot of you know or have an idea of what this opportunity might look like, when in reality it's going to illuminate itself to you. Probably already know deep down there's this, I want to do this, but I don't know if I have the resources. If I don't know if I have the ability, or the circumstances that I'm in right now won't allow me to pursue this. And that's why that unnecessary fear is there, because of that change, the pride to change your life, really. To make those decisions, to just say, you know what, today is my last day doing this, and actually stopping it. There's I don't want to say a lack of boundary, but there's a need for commitment and discipline when it comes to this opportunity that's going to be presented to you. And with that, I think this opportunity most likely has something to do with education. It could also have something to do with the metaphysical, candle work. Maybe you want to make candles. You want to write a book. You want to be a veterinarian. You want to look at your options in a way where you don't see them with the lens of fear. You see them with the lens of opportunity, and looking for resources to help reduce the burdens that are kind of bothering your mental right now. The dawn being this last card here is absolutely beautiful, because if, whoever is watching this, it feels as if you've overcome a part of yourself that has held you back. And with that part that has held you back, you've begun to use that wisdom to separate yourself from an environment that doesn't appreciate your growth. And this could have already happened, but let's see what's going on here. Let's get into this tarot. I want to call out some colors. Definitely orange. Orange and yellow. Orange and yellow are huge here. And that Empress card right there in my face. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. However, it's okay to go at your own pace. It's okay to go at your own pace. I think there's a need to stop expecting a specific look or wanting to be a certain way that you're actually not, and just recognizing and accepting that, other people's work ethic look different than mine, but in reality you get things done about the same rate. So I think instead of, focusing on what other people are doing as far as their own ability or whatever creative endeavors or what it may be or what it may look like, you don't know what that person has gone through to get to that point. So I think this comes down to you kind of keeping your eyes set straight on your own journey. This journey is not for anyone else to help, or not necessarily help, but you have to be able to use your own inner light to guide you towards, really not even guide you, but it's just that internal compass there's a need for you to rely on it more. And I think that's really what this new beginning here is trying to get you to understand, because there's a connection here to spirit, to God's source, whoever it may be to you. There's a connection here. There's a calling here. It's like a call back home, a call to home within yourself, which is why that sacral and solar plexus is here, because it's not that you're not passionate, but you could need a little boost in passion, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, especially with that Queen of Wands in reverse, a lot of you are tired, but it's not necessarily tiring. It's just you actually have to do the work. You have to get up. You have to, set a standard for yourself. Whether it's, I'm going to make my bed every single morning. I'm going to make myself breakfast every single morning. And committing to that. there's a lack of commitment here. It's not necessarily the opportunities that don't present themselves. Mentally, you aren't completely there, which is why that fear is there, which is that mental blockage that's keeping you from opening up the bandages. It's like you've already healed, but in your mind, there's a huge PTSD here as far as making the wrong decision. And that brings me back to that internal compass, because I think a lot of people who mistake their ego for intuition tend to, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like invalidating your intuition, but it wasn't your intuition that you were listening to. It was mostly your ego that's basically saying, oh, that's not necessary. Oh, that's not what I want to do. That's not something that's realistic for me. It's basically a self-sabotage here in terms of that mental blockage. This isn't to say those opportunities are not going to present themselves. They probably already in front of you. It's just a matter of you recognizing them as opportunities to change your life. And it starts with the little things. It starts with waking up, making your tea, drinking your coffee, reading that book, making time for yourself, instead of distracting yourself with things that don't actually help your path or your journey. And it's way easier said than done, right? So don't get me wrong, but there's a huge mental block. A huge mental block, especially because of expectations. Expectations that make you rely on this false reality. Instead of looking at things in a way where you can fix them versus what you wish you had right now. And with that wishing what you had, that's what the boundary that you've created as far as this protection goes, because trusting your ego so often has brought you now to boundaries that force you to be rigid and not mentally clear, not mentally stable, which is why you don't necessarily see the wish that you wished for in front of you, or the opportunity, or it's like you get what you want and then you don't want it. This is like be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. But it requires the work. It requires the work that you want to put in to achieve this dawn, to achieve this new beginning. But there's a fear of starting over. There's a fear of, maybe I should just continue what I'm doing and build on that, which could possibly be a better idea. Instead of just dropping everything, you could, fix what you have. But if what you're looking at as far as your environment goes isn't fulfilling you, what are you willing to do to fulfill yourself in that sense too? Because it feels like a lot of you aren't ready to take the step, aren't ready to take that leap, or the fear, again, is crippling you to begin this journey, to begin this whole new life for yourself, because the bandages are old. It's time to take them off. And it's not that you haven't healed, it's just your inability to realize what has healed. Right? So can you acknowledge what you've learned and how you're ready to apply it? This is a huge need. This is like a trauma. No, this is mostly an idea within yourself that's blocking you from your blessings, which probably has a lot to do with finance. This need for more than you can chew, versus what can I handle right now? What can I take care of today? What can I do tonight? Or, you know what I mean? So instead of thinking far, far, far into the future, give yourself a 24-hour period where you just accomplish mini goals. And with those mini goals, I think this is a career reading for sure. It just feels as if this is your only blockage to seeing the benefit, because mentally you are aware that you're capable, but physically you haven't done the, you know what I'm saying, like that the work. I don't know what that was, but yeah, it just feels like you can't give up this time. You have to keep going, whether you're seeing results or not. Whether you're seeing why, like, I feel like you have to question your why again. How far have you come now to really decide for yourself what you deserve versus what you've already had, and what's actually worth keeping? What's worth keeping as far as your emotions go? Because the things that you've gone through, yeah, while they have, created a wound that might not have healed, or you think it has not healed, there's a need for acceptance of reality, especially when it comes down to this light. You're looking for light, and you're not moving out of the darkness. Your feet aren't getting up, they're not walking. It's not you. It's not you doing the work. So I'm going to leave this here. Oh, no, I'm not, actually. There's more to be said. This Page of Pentacles. You have to be okay with the smaller opportunities in order for you to prepare yourself for the bigger ones. The bigger opportunities won't present themselves until you actually acknowledge that you have to start somewhere small. And it's not going to look, you don't want it to happen overnight. This isn't something that, especially when it comes to your success, you don't want that quickly. You don't. You're gonna find that with time eases the soul, especially when you're consistent and disciplined and know why you're doing the things that you're doing. And then, only then, will God, Source, Spirit, give you the opportunity to reap what you've sown. It takes a lot longer for fruit to bear than the actual roots and the trees, and you know what I'm saying? So don't give yourself a timeline that's unrealistic. Don't do that to yourself. Your expectations are the reason why there's this anxiety about the future, or I need to make money, I need to do this, I need to be famous, I want to get views, I want to do this. It doesn't happen that way when something good is coming into your life. And it's okay. I think when you realize that where you're at right now, could you handle, those $30 million that you're praying for? Could you handle, having a store that's booming and popping? Could you handle having all of those clients today, tomorrow, every other day? Are you prepared for that workload, or are you just wishing for it just to feel like you're successful, instead of actually, putting the work in to master the gift, opportunity, this fortune? You have to feed the soul as well as feeding, your opportunities. It takes time to grow, and with that being said, the flower is not going to bloom as soon as you tell it to. That's just not how it works. So yeah, think I want to do this one. You know, I had this reading, I didn't have any direction for it, and it seems Spirit had something to say. And while it may feel like, you know, times are kind of rough right now, there are still opportunities that are ready to present themselves to you, ready to be there to show you we're ready for you. We don't, you know, it's almost like you have a good guy and you have a popular guy that everybody wants. And this good guy is someone who, you know, is your type. He does the things that you like. He understands who you are. You know, it is what it is. And you have the popular guy who everybody likes. He's so attractive, you know, all of those things, when in reality you're choosing the popular guy for the validation that other people are ready to give you, versus the good guy that you're ready to receive for your own benefit. Yeah. However, that might resonate to Dominion. So, come Taurus season. Taurus season is when you'll start to see that there is that sacral solar plexus mix here. And especially with that number 2, this is kind of like the 2 of Wands for me. I'm hearing nocturnal. Why am I hearing nocturnal? You're probably not sleeping at night. These overbearing thoughts of fear are taking dominion over your faith. And that faith to continue isn't built off of reality. It's built off of this perceived expectation that you want for yourself, which is not, you know, impossible, but it's not going to happen the way that you want it to, or that you expect it to, or the way that you want to control it to. You get what I mean? This is more so, you gotta work with what you got. Yeah, you gotta work with what you got. I think a lot of this also has to do with this neglect of the emotions. There's a neglect here of reality because of the emotions you feel from what are actually presenting themselves to you. This could be other people, this could be, you know, whatever it might be. But there's a need here to acknowledge those inner feelings about, why don't I feel good enough to do the things that I want to do? Or why do I feel like I don't have enough? Why do I feel like it's not going to work out? Why do I feel like these things are not within my reach? Or what is it within me that just doesn't feel up to par with my own goals? And how can I, you know, reduce that burden? How can I stop seeing things in a way where it's defeating me versus allowing me to grow within my own experiences? And it's not that you're not growing, but there's a need for discipline here. Or organization. And you don't have to do everything one week and then take a break the next. That's how you're going to burn out. Separate the workload. Schedule yourself in a way where you can handle it all. And be honest with yourself. You don't have to lie to yourself. Oshun and Sekhmet, my baby. I think a lot of you need to do some self-care also. The self-care of sensuality, feeling, you know, beautiful in your own grace. understanding the beautiful rage that's within you and using that fire to really burn the unrighteous thoughts, the dirty feelings of the past, and just accepting them and being full in your own acceptance of self, so that you may reap these rewards after feeling, yes, surrender, Yamaya. A beautiful energy here. Bless you all. Sekhmet, Oshun, and Yamaya. Yamaya's come to tell you it's time to relieve yourself. Relieve yourself of anything that no longer requires your attention. Anything that is holding you back. Allow the waters to drift you away, the pain to kind of ease itself, and say, hey, you don't belong here anymore. You don't belong here anymore. And while you taught me a great lesson about myself, about the things that I allow, about the things that, have held me back for so long, you don't belong here anymore. With that surrender card, you might need to get somewhere that's near water. You might need to be out in more nature. There's a lot that's being brought towards you, but this mental blockage here is that final punch, that one last push, okay? That one last push and that baby will be born. It's not necessarily a baby, but this newness, this lifestyle, this love that you're ready for. You're so ready. You're so ready. It's just up to you to say, I'm ready. I'm ready. And getting ready to do the work. Organize yourself. Plan, you can plan ahead, but it's okay if plans change. And no one is at fault because of it. And because of that simple experience within yourself of acceptance, because acceptance within yourself is a whole experience. It's something that you actually have to acknowledge and appreciate. To be able to say, I love that part of me, but I just, I can't be and do the same things anymore. I love who I am and who I was and who I'm ready to become. And the things that no longer need to be attached to you, the things that no longer need to be held on to you, the little thoughts, why do I keep hearing that? I'm not saying that out loud. It's just these little entities that want to kind of make you feel comfortable where you're at, when in reality, it's not where you deserve to be. And where you deserve to be is somewhere that you've worked hard to create. And if not hard is the word, it doesn't have to be working hard, it's working smarter. And with this mental blockage, the fear of making those decisions is why you haven't necessarily been seeing so much change, because your head is 10 times faster than your mind, and your mind is 10 times faster than your body. And you feel like you have to wait, when in reality, I think you actually have to catch up with the work that you've done in your mind and actually do it. So, whoever needed this reading, this is actually very beautiful. There's a lot of blues and yellows and reds. Blue, yellow, and red, for sure. Prepare yourself for this new lifestyle by letting go of things that just you don't need, and stop trying to hold on to things in the belief that you're going to need them later on. Everything that you have right now is what you need. Wow, I'm gonna end this here.